नोटिफिकेशन बंद कर लो सब अपने अपने. All right.
And we are live. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. This is the last session for today, and it's my personal favorite. It's going to be a really, really exciting session. We have four great speakers and great marketers on board today. I'll just take about 30 seconds to give a really quick introduction because I don't want to kind of take any of their time. We have Siddharth here. Siddharth, he's a seasoned marketing leader with over 14 years of experience helping organizations scale. And we have Rohit as well, who's been in the SaaS space for a while now. He's helped build and scale companies and teams in WebEngage, CleverTap, and he's currently at Zoom Info. We have Shafiq, who's a product marketer with a background in inbound marketing. He's currently working as a senior PMM in Carix. And Chirayu, who's a seasoned early stage SaaS marketer. He spearheaded growth teams at MyOperator, Harmonize, TestFunda, and now he heads product and marketing of Lena.ai. Welcome aboard, guys. I will leave the stage to you.
Okay, so awesome. We are live. So, guys, if you don't know, we have been talking for the past 15-20 minutes because that's what we do. Then Vikrant came in and he said, guys, you are going live. And we are like, acha, theek hai, matlab, how does that change anything? But yeah, push us live. So, we are here. For people who don't know us, that's all right. We are not superstars. We are not movie stars. So, we don't take it personally. We are SaaS marketers just like you. So, I mean, just to give you a context, if you have been on SaaS Saturdays, you would already know. But basically, SaaS Saturdays, it was actually supposed to be a placeholder title. By the way, Shafiq, it's your forbidden mouth that gave us this name, and we are now sticking with it. But the first session of SaaS Saturdays was called SaaS and Chill. So always remember our humble origins. And we started just to make the SaaS marketers feel related and feel listened to. And whenever somebody rants about things, we are always there to like take them into a corner and then talk them down. That guys, it's okay. Everybody is figuring it out. Everybody is winging it, and let's. We are all here to fail and succeed together. So with that, guys, there are polls on the side. Please go ahead and vote for your favorite myth that you want to bust today. And amazing to have you here. And yeah, with that, I'm sure that all of you who are working in SaaS have received your weekend text from your CEO about the latest growth hack or the latest newsletter by I cannot name who, but you can make a guess. Latest LinkedIn post by, again, I cannot make who, I cannot name who, but you know the name. So you get those screenshots.
Latest podcast and video also.
Copywriting is the biggest ever skill ever invented in this world.
Invented.
So we have all been there, right? And we have all have had those Monday mornings where we are answering to the CRO on one channel, to the CMO, to the CFO on another, to the CEO on one, and there are like multiple channels going on, and everybody is asking questions from the marketing team. And God forbid if you make a typo there, you are getting 100 more messages on the general. So now that we have set the context right for this rant that is to begin, I will ask this question, and I'll start with my favorite myth, because I have heard this so many times with the CEOs that I've worked with and the CEOs that talk to me and share their or I mean come on our SaaS clubhouse sessions. So most of them ask us is when we do inbound marketing, and I blame HubSpot for this. When we do inbound marketing, do we really need a budget for that? Like, do we spend money to get inbound leads? Because as per HubSpot, you write content, as per Moz, you optimize it, and as per Brian Dean, if you stuff the content with the right keywords, leads will come and sign up for your product right then and there. So with that, I pass on the inbound marketer that I have known for the longest, Shafiq. How much budget, or can you really do inbound marketing without any budgets at all?
So the myth here is if you're doing inbound marketing, you don't really need to spend money. And the reason why this is a myth is basically content distribution is an integral part of growing the inbound marketing funnel. Without it, your content will not be discovered as soon as you would like it to be. You will have to wait for the organic traffic to come onto your website and then build the funnel through it. The way I see it, paid content distribution puts you in front of your target audience faster than organic means. In the initial phase, I would put some money in paid ads, and then as organic grows, I would turn off paid media spends. A lot of brands have now adopted the evolved inbound marketing strategy, which is the media strategy, as opposed to using content to drive someone to an offer or a sign up. The focus is in a media strategy is more on top of the funnel. That is to create an audience. That in itself requires a lot of investment in content creation and content distribution. So I believe that this is kind of a misnomer and a false belief that inbound marketing does not require any budgets.
I believe that why CEOs think or people think that inbound marketing doesn't need any budget, because compare the salaries that inbound marketer get to an engineer or a sales guy, and then you will actually figure out that inbound marketing doesn't need any budget after all.
Yeah, they are getting bikes, by the way.
Sorry.
Engineers are getting bikes, by the way, as joining bonus.
Super bike. Super
I
bike.
mean, that's
Let's be
entirely
very
another
clear.
conversation.
Even I have a bike. It's called TVS Vigo.
That's not a bike.
I know why you have TVS Vigo. The USP of that bike is to maintain balance. So, the same question to you, not the salary one. I know that's a touchy topic for you. So, so do you believe that inbound market, or I know you don't believe it. So, what do you believe that how much budget or inbound? Why is this myth? Let us explore that. That why is this myth that inbound marketing doesn't need any budget, and what to do about it?
See, everybody loves free pizza, right? Nobody says no to free.
We both show that Shafiq doesn't.
So it's like everybody likes free leads, right? I mean, and then HubSpot obviously went out of the way to. I mean, the best part was HubSpot used paid mechanism to actually tell everyone in the world inbound is free, right? Inbound is a growth hack which is free, right? They use paid mechanism for it, right? So I guess it's born out of that notion. Plus, in the early days of SaaS, right? When I'm talking about 2011, 12, 13ish, that era, right? It was easy to discover your brand, especially in terms of when you're writing a content in SaaS. It was young, cloud adoption was low. You had AWS just picking up, their own. Their own genesis was happening, right? And it was a good time to be a SaaS marketer, because you could write one content piece, stuff it with, I think, like around 40, 50 keywords, and you will be discovered, and you will be like, yo, I cracked SEO. Right? But coming, 2021, there's a lot of noise, right? And you're not going to, if you have to cut through the noise, right? I mean, imagine this, you're standing, I equated to this, right? I mean, when I was a kid and I used to go and play cricket in this field, right? There were hardly 4 other people playing with me, right? As I grew up, and this is when I was in Lucknow, and as I grew up, I came to Bangalore, right? I suddenly realized the field had shrunk and there were 20 people playing, right? everyone's playing the same game, huh? Like cricket. You don't know whose ball you're hitting, but you're just playing. You're just hitting
You are in Bangalore. In Bombay, 20 people play on the same pitch.
And that's the skill.
So taking that analogy, right? I mean, it's become that much more difficult, right? Thinking about it, and how do you do that, right? You have to stand out, so you have to spend money. And like Shafiq rightly said, whether you spend it on paid ads or you spend it on content strategy, that's a part of your GTM. When I say GTM, please don't misquote me and say GTM is only marketing one. But I'm saying as a larger organizational strategy, as per your go-to-market strategy, if you're investing in paid ads or you're investing in content distribution, you have to invest money to stand out. You cannot put your content. You cannot put your content in a blog and then let it rot there. I mean, to be fair to everyone and to be really, I really like the way people write. But your blog is not the most favorite thing for me to go and visit on a daily basis, especially if you're a SaaS company. Especially.
Well, if that becomes my favorite thing to do, I will be sorry for myself.
Get a life, Rohit.
Dude, life is so expensive right now. When you're in Mumbai, you have to be an engineer to afford it. Marketers cannot afford a life right now. Anyhow, going to the next myth. So I think inbound marketing is one part that needed to be addressed, because I don't know. I will digress and use a Hindi term. HubSpot का चूरन ना बहुत दिन चल गया. अभी निकलो उससे. That's been beaten to death and it doesn't work anymore. So the next myth I'll pose on to Chirayu, and I'll maybe ask him, because he has been a part of 2 orgs that has gone through it. So Chirayu, whoever comes to us, or we talk to more and more CEOs for our learnings as well. So early stage CEOs, most of them agree to this fact or have this notion that marketers should only be hired, maybe say somewhere after the PMF, or where they can see a predictable runway. After sales has worked is when they want to hire marketing, if I have to say it in a common man's language. So what's your opinion on that?
I think you rightly mentioned that it is a myth that marketers should be hired only after the sales motion is in place. I think marketing and a part of branding or positioning should also begin right from the time you start working on the product. A lot of times, if you are sort of a pre-PMF product and you don't know what market you are trying to capture, or what is it that the audience is trying to understand out of your messaging and positioning, you should have a fully dedicated person, and that person in the first few, say, weeks or months could be the CEO. And that person's responsibility should only be to understand whether or not the audience that you're building the product for is able to resonate enough with what the product is doing, and is it really reaching the same way that the CEO or the marketing person wants it to reach. So I think that the marketing is independent of the sales motion. It should begin from the time the marketer should be the first hire, basically after the CEO. So that's how I would put it.
Marketer should be first hire after the CEO. I would go ahead and say ki you don't hire marketing. That is okay with me, but you please do marketing. So for example, when we were hired, Shafiq and I were hired in WebEngage, we were the second and third and fourth marketers, but it didn't feel like it because Avlesh was already there.
Already doing it. Fair.
So with that segue, I pose the same question to Shafiq. What's your opinion on hiring the marketer post PMF, or not doing marketing till PMF, or that sort of a common notion that people have?
So you know what they say, the best time to start doing marketing was yesterday, and the second best time to start it is today. So marketing for a pre-PMF product involves groundwork to understand the user persona, pain points that the product solves, getting the positioning and messaging right, generating demand for the product. Now, most of the time, the founders double up as marketers and do a bunch of these things. Hiring a specialist who has done these things basically offloads the work from founder's shoulder to the marketer. And secondly, the goal of marketing in a pre-PMF is to get enough users to the product so that the users use the product and that feedback can be routed back to the product to improve it. On the side, it helps to kickstart the motion for inbound marketing. So because inbound marketing usually takes a good amount of time to kick in. So it helps that that funnel takes time to build it, and then it helps to start sooner than later.
Got it. So basically, if I have to summarize, start sooner. CEO should be a good marketer, hire generalist, and not wait for the specialist to come in and take care of everything, because marketing is not going to be CMO is not going to be your quintessential teacher of master of dark arts.
So hire for somebody who is a demand generation guy plus some exposure in product marketing for a super early stage startup.
Yeah, I would let that insight go on the cost of a joke, which just came to my mind. So if if you compare the tenure of a Master of Dark Arts in Harry Potter and a CMO, it is very, very sorry feeling to be identical with each other. Every year the Master of Dark Arts changes, and every year the CMO and head of marketing changes in a series. So I will leave you with your favorite question. Now you have been an inbound marketer without HubSpot thought of it. Okay?
What?
You have been an inbound marketer much before even HubSpot thought of it. Right? So you lived through the journey of build it and they'll come. So in today's world, if you build it, if you write a kick-ass 3,000 word blog post, would a SaaS marketer
it will just stay there. It will stay there. I mean, not even Google Doc will index it. I don't know even if while you search on Drive, it will index for the keyword that you have mentioned. It might sometimes, but it might not as well. So,
people that you have shared with, like the private link also, they will also not read. So how much? I think this is more of not more of a myth, but more of a misconception. And I think many people say this, that 80% of the real content creation or content marketing task is distribution. But I mean, can you just underscore it and unpack it for us? Because I think you have the largest years of experience and the
you politely just called me the oldest person in the room.
I want to, but I'll take that to Clubhouse actually.
Yeah, I mean, folks. Yeah, folks. Just a quick update also. I mean, since we talk so much, and folks who know me know I can talk a lot. We'll also be continuing this same session on Clubhouse later. Yeah. We'll post the link. You can join in from there. But yeah, we'll love to see you.
I'll post the link right now. This is not a sponsor session. We can do what we want.
Yeah.
Straight, go ahead. What about content distribution?
Yeah, so I mean, like we talked about, right? I mean, it's getting harder and harder to, stand out from the noise. And the biggest problem with folks even doing content distribution, right? They're like, take it and put it on LinkedIn, spend $500, buy bot traffic, right? Shafiq, don't laugh. Right? And
bought that.
and
then, BOT bot traffic, not BOU GST.
Yeah, BOU GST bot traffic is surprisingly a very good marketing tactic, by the way.
It is. Like, at least you can buy traffic, right? I mean, you have bought traffic, but BOT traffic is like not the right of traffic to buy. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people, spend money on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, just randomly, right? I mean, take your article, take your ebook. You've written an ebook. Wow, it has a nice design. Put it on Facebook. People will love it, right? And who loves it? The company employees, right? And everyone's like, 100 engagement. We have 8.33% engagement rate for whatever, right? I mean, whatever, right? But you've got to understand where your audience is at. Like, if my audience is not reading LinkedIn, then why should I be on LinkedIn? I don't care. My LinkedIn can be dead for all I care, because nobody's anyway going to find me there, right? And I'm not a personality. I'm a brand, right? So if I'm going to be where my audience is, find out where your audience is, and then make sure that your content is over there and not in like Asani, like. I mean, I again reminded of the fact where the newspaper person used to come and throw the newspaper on your face, right? take my content. Yeah, take my content. Not that way. But yeah, I mean, nicely slip it into like a magazine, like, since I was a cricket fan to Sports Star, I used to get Sports Star in a mailbox. Get something.
What you really mean is that people are not waiting for our webinar invites. Seats limited nahi hai.
People are not waiting for your free webinar invites, and it's free.
But it's not limited free time. It's not limited. It's not free for a limited time.
When you say it is a free webinar, it is not that the webinar is free. The person attending it is free.
Guys,
it's a free webinar.
What are you doing? Free you.
Webinar. Yeah. So I mean, I think like you've got to like. I mean, to be very honest, take your content, take whatever. I mean, you're not creating bad stuff, right?
Yeah.
Even if you are, and even if you are creating bad stuff, right, you have to put it out there to get feedback, right? I don't care if I get dissed on any of my content pieces or people come and say this is bullshit or this is bad, this is absolutely wrong. It's okay. At least people are noticing me and noticing enough to actually go through the content and tell me whether it's right or wrong. So you have to be that that bold enough to put your content out and not just publish it on your I think I don't know if people are still using WordPress. I mean, I'm an oldie. I still use WordPress.
I use
New
it.
age,
I think
new age,
all of us use WordPress.
Yeah.
new age. There is new age marketers are using Webflow. Yeah, I mean, what do you like? Webflow is like the.
I was a new age marketer
course.
a couple of months back. Now I am an enterprise marketer. I use WordPress.
Yeah. So I mean, when you click on publish on WordPress and then you're like, okay, my job's done. No, your job's not done. I'm sorry. I mean, content marketing has evolved, and you should have evolved too with it. And if you haven't, then okay, well, let's start evolving.
And please stop forcing your employees to like your post on LinkedIn. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, LinkedIn also understands. Like even like I
No, it does
think,
not. No, it does not. LinkedIn has itself made an option for page owners to sort of ping all their employees to sort of direct that content to their feed
You're
so that
that
they
guy,
end up
isn't
liking it.
You're that guy, isn't it?
Of course, we have to be, all of us have to be those guys.
Yeah, I've done that. I have notified people that guys would really appreciate some love here.
So
Yeah,
LinkedIn,
yeah. I mean,
LinkedIn's product marketing team and the content generally were able to identify that yes, this is a common practice. Everybody posts the link of LinkedIn post on the Slack channels to get it liked by their peers. So how about making it a feature altogether?
Slack and
But
WhatsApp.
you do it on
Slack
our
and
WhatsApp group also. There's a limit to
Of
it.
course, I do. Just today I did it. Please help me amplify this.
There should be a limit
Not
to
amplify.
shamelessness.
So these are the 3 words that marketer uses: show love, help amplify, and share it within your network. three sentences. That's everyone. I've covered 95% of marketers putting their messages on Slack on LinkedIn posts.
Show some love here.
Show some love here.
Hey, that's a white paper targeted at CIOs. I cannot love it. It's fundamentally wrong. Anyhow, this is turning to a WhatsApp call. So let us take like the last 8 minutes. We'll take up the questions that people have posted here, and then we'll start the clubhouse room for people to have more informal fun. So the first question that we have is, it's a opinion. Google Ads bring leads for B2B startups, actual leads.
I think the person I think Hardik here wanted to highlight that it's a myth. So
no, man. I mean, my job depends upon this. Hardik, you can't say this thing. No, but on a serious note, it does.
It does.
But you have to be super specific on what kind of ads. It's not all ads will bring in. I think Rohit runs some great campaigns that I know of. Plus, I've run some dud campaigns that I know of, right? And so I know which campaigns bring in. Not all campaigns will bring in, especially if you are an agency. And if you've outsourced your marketing to an agency, they will tell you that they have bid on your competition, you have built on your brand keyword, and they have put your defensive impression share has gone up by 73%. All these numbers will
Doesn't
come
mean
up.
Shit.
Doesn't mean shit. But yeah, if you do the campaign the right way, you structure it the right way, they can bring you good leads. For a very brief period, Google Ads was my best conversion, like the end conversion, right? I mean, till it got till the account creation stage, revenue stage. Google Ads was one of the
incredible
best
channel for demand capture.
Oh yeah. High intent capture is one of the most.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll move on to the next question. What is your recommended paid distribution channel for B2B SaaS? My default channel is very, very well-defined audience on social networks. So actually, you would be surprised that my go-to channel for content distribution is Facebook. And I get the best possible readership from Facebook on my blogs and my ebooks. So we can double-click on that in one of our clubhouse sessions about content distribution. Organic, I have not cracked. In fact, I came into the market after organic was abused and over-abused. So I had to take the paid route, and I can maybe share a couple of tricks there, but that's a longer discussion. Sid, Chirayu, Shafiq, any quick answers to that?
So I would want to add email list as something that not paid, but yeah, it has worked really well for in my experience in the past.
Okay. Third question is from Jugal. Is it true that communities is much greater than traditional marketing like SEO, email, and ads at present? What is your opinion? अरे
Siddharth wants to take this, of course.
क्या होगा?
I want to take this up because I've been actively involved in shutting down 2 communities.
यार ऐसे करोगे ना लोग हमें बुलाना बंद कर देंगे. People will not call us on to session.
No, I mean,
People are community managers.
yeah. I'm not saying that communities are bad. I'm saying I've been involved in shutting down 2 communities, right? And the project came about because maintaining a community is a full-time job. A lot of folks think it can be combined with your content marketer. Okay, there is a head of content marketing. Why not give him an extra stretch work? Let's ask him to be a part of the community. Community is a 24/7 baby that you've got to nurture for at least, I mean, if not, but at least more than your tenure of your CMO. Right, it will outlast at least 5 CMOs in your company. Right, it should. Right, if you aren't that serious, which 2 companies I worked with weren't, right? Yeah, and you're just keeping it so that sometime in between you say $40 voucher if you introduce yourself, $20 voucher if you introduce yourself, and you use these money to bring in people. It will just, it will die a slow death. So if community is done well, yes. Look at I basically look at Salesforce, right? Salesforce is by far a very complex product, right? If you want to even create a field in it, it's very, very difficult to do it unless you have the community help, right? You go to community, you default to community. Same thing with HubSpot. A lot of enterprise SaaS companies, good enterprise SaaS companies have thriving communities, but the back-end work that goes to it is large, right? If done well, it can give you disproportionate gains, but the key caveat I will again say, if done well, and that is very difficult to crack.
Said, I know your rant.
Just a small addition here in what Siddharth said. I think communities and other traditional marketing platforms like email, SEO, and ads should not be taken as an either or kind of a thing. Community should always be used to sort of amplify the outputs coming in from these conventional routes. That is how I would want to answer this question.
I would just add one line that if you really want to understand how communities work, go ahead and read Tribe by Seth Godin, and you will never think of building a community until you have a really, really strong brand again. No, that puts things in perspective.
It does. Mean it. No, but when you said that people won't want to build a community, people would have been like heartbroken.
It's a very hard work. Like ask the Fast Insider team, right? Chameli was taking a session on that. I think it's an incredibly hard work to do. I think Vikrant will attest to that answer.
Yeah, he's given
last two questions.
I have a point to make here, and नहीं बनाऊंगा मैं 3 of you have spoken. I am not letting go of this. It also depends on the nature of the product and its target audience. So let's say if you are marketing predominantly to a persona, let's say developers who are predominantly hard to market to, think of a product like a Postman, Stripe, or a Twilio. And these products scaled because they were able to build communities around their product.
Yeah. So that authentic truth, why I told people to read Tribe is because of that, to realize that authentic truth that people can rally behind. That is a very difficult thing to have. And that should be the main fabric of your brand and everything else. So I think that cannot be answered in a playbook kind of a manner. That's the real reason why I suggested people to go the first principle route. Last 2 questions. Vinu has asked, as someone who is nearly entering a marketing role, sales for a young SaaS org, any key advice you would give me to begin with inbound market? Vinu, go ahead and search for the Dunning-Kruger effect, and don't let that get to you. So read everything that there is. Honestly, a quick Google search, being part of good communities, can get you all the answers that there is. But don't fall for the trap that you have all figured out within 3 months, because we have all been there, and then ekdam bilkul hi dhadam se reaches zameen par. So don't, and I know it cannot be contained. I'll welcome you to the Clubhouse session if you are available. We can then take it in more detail, but 30-second answer is not enough.
Just to add to this, the two qualities that you would that could potentially help you in that is patience and persistence.
ऐसा
and
leadership वाला आंसर था जबी का.
and develop a thick skin. Like you are going to be asked to justify your place, your campaigns, your everything, your creatives, your words, possibly even the way you walk in the office. कि ROI क्या है? ROI.
Questions that you have never been asked before. Vikrant, I know that we have ran through our time, so it's all right.
There's one question actually. Even I wanted to kind of know more about, so I'll pull it up on the screen.
Oh shit!
ये तो out of syllabus.
This is out of syllabus.
For this, you should pay us.
I can take a stab on this, but I am doing this with borrowed knowledge. This is not something that we have implemented, but I am learning from osmosis from all around. So for category creation, what you really need is, and first of all, don't create a category until you really need to do it. Like if you are a CRM for a specific industry, you don't need to create a category. If you are a chatbot with an extra twist like we had at Incent, we didn't need to create a category. So don't do it because it's a crazily effort taking and a lot of budget that is required. Now, having said that, the real channels that you need to focus is about creating brand. I would give you a quick references for this. I mean, Play Bigger is one thing that you should read because those are the guys who basically created this concept of category creation. That is one thing that's basically a playbook of everything that you need to do in category creation. But in short, if I have to concise it, you need to have a very strong why for your brand. You have to have a very strong why now for your brand, and the meta channels for distribution. That are the basic. That are the ones. Those are not the part of the SaaS playbook. Those are majorly events, press releases, billboards, partnerships, and influencers. All of this combined in a 1 month kind of a playbook is called as a lightning event, which is something that we are planning at ZoomInfo. So maybe 3 months, 4 months down the line, I'll be a thought leader in this, and then I'll talk with more authority. But that's the playbook. That's what I'm learning and implementing right now. Go ahead and read Play Bigger. That's basically all the playbook that you need to have a category creation machine.
And just to add to what Rohit said,
तूने नहीं बनाया category नहीं यार.
मैंने तो नहीं बताया, मैं मुझे आता भी नहीं है, इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि अगर सीखना है सच में तो go and hear Metadata podcast. They are doing great job at marketing for category creating products.
Yeah. Metadata is good. You can backtrack Mad Kudu's journey into category creation. You can backtrack Tulio's journey. You can backtrack Lattice's journey, and you can backtrack one more, Algolia's journey. And Drift is obviously, like what is Drift and Gong doing, so you already know that. But the brands that you don't know, and you can actually find good content on that to sort of reverse engineer that. Okay, Vikrant, over to you. We stop our rant right here.
Thank you so much for this. This has been like as usual conversation with you guys is like it expands thoughts in different directions, good and bad both. I won't say exactly in which but it's been a really great session. Thank you all for taking the time out and joining us. And for folks who want to kind of continue this conversation, please go ahead. You can log into Clubhouse. They've put the link on the chat section. And would love to kind of have you guys on another panel sometime soon. What say?
Yeah. You guys are getting more and more sponsors nowadays. So we'll be charging for the next time. Don't think we didn't see the banners and all. Okay.
Yes,
but Vikrant, we are supposed to talk, right? I mean, if you tell us like come on video and chat about your life history and all, then like I mean we'll come. So yeah. I mean, now behind the scenes, before we got onto the SaaS Insider show, we had a SaaS Insider walkthrough, right? Vikrant along with his colleague came about and talked about how, what are the sessions, what you're going to talk about, what are the topics you're going to say, how you're going to structure it. If folks would believe me, I mean, it sounds unbelievable. We asked Vikrant and Gautam to leave after 20 minutes and told, and Rayu, Shafiq, Rohit and I continued speaking. We continued speaking of 45 minutes. We did not. We asked. I mean, it was Gautam's link. It was a Gotham
on their own link, yes.
Yeah, and we asked them to leave, and we said, okay, fine, you guys can leave. And then Gautam did not leave. I think Gautam wanted to understand what's going on, and I said, okay, Gautam is still here. Gautam, you can leave. I mean, I was quiet, and then we continued speaking, right? I mean, that's how much suckers we are to speak, right? I mean, we need, I mean, it shows that we need therapy, but yeah.
This is our therapy. This is our
But we
therapy
don't
where
have
we
money.
talk it on.
Yeah, but we don't have money. We don't have superbikes to sell. We don't have superbikes to sell.
Yeah, and we are not engineers. We cannot afford therapy anyway. So, guys, if you want to join us, I have started the room on Clubhouse. See you there. I will not see you, but hear you there, and we'll be there in a minute.
See you, folks.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Thanks for joining in.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We'll chat soon. Bye-bye.
Bye
See ya.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.